Let's get the 200Xs out. What do you say?
No?
No. Wrong answer.
Yeah.
So today, let's get all the 200Xs out and do some comparison video. This is not the best way to do it. I've got all the sport trikes. And a fast boat. I don't know if you heard that. I've got all the sport trikes tucked over here with a couple exceptions, but what we're looking at is 83, 84, 85, 86, and 87. We'll get them in the daylight. Okay, we've got those machines moved out. We will exit the garage slowly. We don't want to upset anybody. Spook the herd. Okay. Here we go. Honda's ATC 200X lineup. I have some very loud boats going by. I picked a perfect time to record this video. Honda made the ATC 200X for 5 years. And it all began in 1983. Honda at that time was innovating at a rapid pace. They came out with this, let's see, in 1983, what they have. They had the ATC 70, they had the Big Red, they had an ATC 200 last year for that. 1983, they had the 110. That was before the 125M. That might have been it. Might be mistaken. I'll correct myself on the screen if I am. But so they didn't have a lot to offer. Oh, of course, they had a 250R. And they didn't have a lot to offer for a entry-level sport machine besides the 250R, which at that time was on its second generation, air-cooled. We'll do a video on those at a later date. So this is a perfect machine for your 13, 14, 15-year-old. You know, it's a medium-sized motor, we'll say. It's not, definitely not a 350X. I was spoiled. I got a 350X when I was 15, so I just like jumped over 200Xs, and I didn't get one until probably about 4 years ago, and I wasn't impressed, but because I'd grown used to the 350X. So this is not the same power at all as a 350X, but they're great if you're not too heavy, not too big. This is a great machine. Now this is my worst one, so we're gonna start with the 1983 as my worst one. So the first gen 200X motor is a single overhead cam motor that's based on the 185S motor, but displacement was moved from 180 cc's up to 192 and bumped up the compression from 8:1 to 9.2:1. It's a 5-speed, 1 down, 4 up, manual transmission, chain drive, and that's the basis for this machine. I got this from a friend of a friend who traded me this for my snowmobile trailer. I had a not so great enclosed 2-place snowmobile trailer, and this was offered to me, and I took it. The changes I've done to it, I've gotten a better set of rear fenders that came with that seat. I think I had recovered the old seat, but then did a swap and got these fenders on it. And I think these fenders came off in 84 because the back decal, which isn't original, but it's not the right year. There's a subtle difference between years. This is an original decal. It's kind of a matte finish. This is a glossier reproduction, but again, that's 84 style. So I know, roast me in the comments, but so I got new a better set of rear fenders. A buddy of mine in Canada, who's a big collector, had these rear tires and rims, which need to be detailed and cleaned up. You'll see they're kind of nasty. I had the front max on it when I got it. I've not really cleaned this up much at all. It's got a DG exhaust, I believe. It's really loud. I did obtain an OEM exhaust to put on this, which needs to be sandblasted and painted. You'll see somebody did a kind of sloppy job putting that decal on. I'm not going to take credit for that. So this is what's known as first gen. The first 3 years are first gen. 1983, 1984, very, very similar with some subtle differences. We'll see if I can pick them out, because I don't know. I'm not an expert on these. I don't want anybody to think that. 1985 is still first gen, but more of the cosmetic changes that you'll see in 1985 and 86 and 87. Blue seat, more of a red, white, and blue theme. Honda must have figured out that Americans like red, white, and blue. We're getting ahead of ourselves, guys, so let's go back. Okay, so 1980, 83, 84. This is a very beautiful time capsule. I got this from my buddy Toby last fall. This he kept in his basement. This was his nicest 200X, original 200X, we'll say. 1984 ATC 200X, the second year of the first gen. You can see it looks very, very similar to the 83, as we're going to talk about. Swing arm design has changed. Motor is the same. It's still a 5-speed. Look, you can ride with your wife and look cool. And there's the accessories that go on it. There's some Pro Wedge tires. They're cool. You see this has stock exhaust. All original tires. These have the Pro Vector that look like this. Those rear tires would also have come on a 250SX. Front tire obviously would not have come on the 250SX. I believe that shares a front tire with the 83, 84 250R. These aren't the beefiest of swing arms, but again, this isn't a super powerful machine. These all have the toolkits on it. Red shocks. That's got a blue shock on the 85. There is a difference in the swing arms on 83 to 84. That's one of the bigger differences. That's almost got a more tubular type construction, where this has the square tube typical of what you'd see on a 350X or 250R with regard to square tube design. This thing's dirty. It's got the toolkit on it though. I told you it didn't have those tires or rims. I had some, I forget what I had, some hole shots or something. I think these look better with the more round tires, like that squared tire look on the 85. I don't like that. I have obtained an all original set of tires to put on that machine and front, so we'll talk more about that when we get there. These kick funny, the first gens. Obviously those are not the original grips. They should be like this. You can still get these. You can get these, so a good upgrade. One thing I like to do, here's a secret when you're looking at a machine. I do this. I touch here, because if this machine has been put on its side, that's going to be rubbed, or the whole end of that will look bad. Another cool trick is to just rub your finger along the bottom of the grab bar. Now that's nice and smooth. This is a used grab bar I got for free from my buddy Connor. But look at that, it's got rash on it. Not bad. A lot of these will get ground right down. Let's do a grab bar inspection. 85. 85, that's worse. See that? Pretty flat. So it's been stood right up on a hard surface, probably pavement. This is one of my nicest machines, so boy, that's just as nice. Boy, that's got just a touch right there. Not me. I didn't do that. My 87. It's got some gouges on it. All right, let's go back to the first gens here. So tubular swing arm construction. I forget what I was saying. Oh, I wanted to talk about the kickers on these. These are funny because they go past the, this isn't gear. No. It goes past the foot peg. So to stand on this and kick down, like your foot is going, out and past. And, like I said, I grew up on a 350X. So that didn't sit well with me. So I actually like to, let's see if this will start right up. But when I kickstart this, I like to stand here, put my foot, and not catch my toes on the foot peg, but I do that. And that works for me because I just feel goofy doing it the other way. Obviously, fork boots are shot on this. They don't still make these. These are unavailable. That's a beautiful set. You can still find a set of these on eBay, but they go under a different name. You can get them in blue and black. I think I have a set. I've got, just like everything I've got, I have intentions of fixing this up at some point, but time is a factor. This tank is respectable. I think that's a different tank. I think I did swap a tank out on this. I found a refinished one. This is original but touched up. This came on an 84 that I had, that I bought a nice restored tank from Travis Gisclair, and that went on a machine that I sold to my buddy Donnie Bizall. Dr. John, you know him. You know my boy. But that's this machine. Traded for a snowmobile trailer, some minor upgrades. It runs. It's a nice machine, but it's probably typical of a nice survivor. This, like I mentioned, this 84 is a time capsule. Beautiful, beautiful machine. I think my buddy Toby did touch up the motor paint back a while ago. So very nice, very original, but not without some touch up. Very similar, black seat, orange decals to the 83. Let's talk about the 85. The last year, the first gen. In this promotional material, you can see they've gone to the red, white, and blue theme. Arguably the best looking theme of the first gen. And just more pleasing to the eye if you're into things that look good. There's some accessories that came on this. The speedo, the headlight card, the fairing, and the over fender. 1985, Honda made the most three-wheelers of any other year. Models, variations. Last year for the ATC 70, last year for the 110, last year for the 125M. No, that's a lie. For the first gen 125M. Big Red had just gone to 250 cc's. First year for the 350X. 250R had just been revamped, liquid cooled. This was like the heyday, the prime year for Honda. And the last year of the first gen 200X. Essentially the same machine as this. If there are a ton of differences, I don't know. This 85 should have the same tires as this 84. That's an original seat. All the sport bikes for 85 had the model on the seat. So 350X said 350X, 250R said 250R. Tank decal is typical, 85, same decal as the 350X. These tank shrouds are not original. These are OEM fenders. The tank decal, or I'm sorry, the fender decal looks like that. It says red hubs on the back. I don't know if that's correct or not. I almost feel like I see some overspray. I don't think they're supposed to be red. This machine I bought 2 years ago. Popped up for sale at a reasonable price, about an hour and a half away, so I went after it. It runs, but I believe the clutch is stuck. I think the clutch plates are stuck one to another and needs to be freed up. I probably have to pull it and just put a new clutch in it. Just haven't had time to do that. Fork boots obviously are not correct. Funny story on this, my buddy Donnie Bizall, he said he had this cool trick that he uses if clutch plates get stuck, and I'm gonna put this in so you can see him doing it, but this didn't work. It looks like he's doing more than just trying to free up clutch plates with this particular motion, but it didn't work, and I'm gonna have to do some surgery on it. Boy's gonna mow the lawn. Okay, where were we? 85 200X. So essentially the same machine as the 84. Correct me if I'm wrong, if you know. So these were very popular racing machines. So a lot of these were bought and hammered on and didn't survive a lot. I would love to find a better condition 85. I really like that. This has got a lot going for it, but it has a lot that needs some attention. It's not the end of the world, stuff that can be corrected and just detailed. I haven't even washed this since I got it, but things that'll happen over time as long as I stop bringing home projects. But one thing I brought home that really needed nothing is this 86 200X. The story behind this one is, it's a funny story. Geez, let's see, where do I start? So the story on that 86 200X is a story of patience and not knowing what you're getting into, but just being friendly and working with people at their own pace. So it goes like this. A 1986 250R popped up on Craigslist back in 2017, I think. And I messaged a guy who was down in New Jersey, and the guy, it was probably like a Tuesday. I couldn't get down there until Friday at the earliest. The guy said he had a lot of interest, and I mentioned that, I get it. If he's got to sell it, that's totally okay. I collect, and I'd like to add that to my collection. And I had maybe a dozen machines at the time. And he said, yeah, well, if it's still here for the weekend, come on down and we can work something out. So I said, okay. After I hung up the phone, I texted him a couple pictures of the machines I had, and he called me right back and he said, man, I guess you do have a couple machines. I said, yeah, I'm not lying. I just can't get down there. It's just not gonna work. And he said, well, I tell you what, I like the idea of it going to somebody who collects. And I also have a few other machines that I'm probably gonna be getting to selling here soon. So maybe you'd be interested in all of them. I said, yeah, what do you got? And he goes, well, I'll put a list together for you. And this was probably October time frame. And I said, sure, sounds good. I said, whenever you get to it, I'm good. He was, okay, sounds good. The list never came. I was very patient. He ran a landscaping business. It was becoming his busy time of year to close out camps, and he just got busy. He'd check in every couple of weeks, been busy, I'll get back to you. Yep, no hurry, whenever you're ready. then you know, every couple months, you know, haven't forgot about you. Yep, sure, sounds good. His name is Craig. And in the spring I heard from him, and I didn't hear from him for a while. And whatever, you can't chase people down. I don't want to seem needy or desperate. So I had his phone number saved in my phone. I was out on a date with my wife the following fall, almost a year exactly, and the guy sent me a text message, and my truck, I'd gotten a new truck at that point, my truck announced, you have a text message from Craig NJ Trikes. And my wife looked at me and she goes, what do you think Craig NJ Trikes wants? I was like, babe, I don't know. I'm out with you tonight. That's all that's important. We had to stop at a store. She was returning something, so she ran in the store, and I was like, hey Craig, hey listen, I'm out on a date with my wife. I can't talk right now, but I'll give you a call tomorrow. And he wrote me back, yeah, sure, no problem. So day after date night, I called him back, and man, he opened right up like we were buddies from way back. I'm not gonna air his stuff on YouTube here, but basically, bottom line, he had to sell all the machines in short order that he had. I still didn't know what that meant, what all the machines meant. So he goes, if you're still interested, you know, I can get a list together. I was like, absolutely still interested. You know, I've definitely send me a list, send me pictures. You know, some of them have been sitting for some time. I think he wanted to get them out and get them all going. I was like, I don't care if you do that or not. Just let me know. So he ended up sending me a bunch of pictures. There were some non-Hondas in there. I ended up, long story short, because we're getting a little bit long-winded here, I bought 24 machines from him, mostly Hondas. I had a couple of the small Suzuki ALTs and an LT50. 24 machines. I had to go down twice with my enclosed trailer. Once was the day after Thanksgiving, and then the day after that. I'll throw some pictures up just to show you how that day went. But that's where that ATC 200X came from. That was really the gem of that acquisition. And it's gorgeous. It's low hours. It's not, you know, we looked at the grab bar, so it's not, you know, without blemish. It has a couple small ones, but super, super duper nice. And let's get back to it. That's how that happened. So the 86, 87 models changed from the first gen. The engine displacement bumped up from 192 to 199. The transmission went to a 6-speed, 1 down, 5 up configuration like the 350X and the 250R, and the carburetor size increased by 1 millimeter. So like I said, all original. That did not have the headlight guard on it when I bought it. That's something I acquired and put on it. Original rubber. You can still see chalk lines on the rear tires. Oh, I'm embarrassed. So it's missing the Kickstarter because that little go-kart I have has an ATC 200X motor, and that Kickstarter is unique to this machine, 1 year only. In 87, though they look very similar, that Kickstarter shaft is a little bit bigger because I think they had some shearing issues with the 86 model. So the knuckle on an 87 does not fit. So if you've got an 86 200X Kickstarter, I would very much like to buy it for that go-kart, but that's where the kicker is. So, but that pointed out a difference. So Kickstarters 86 to 87 are different. Back to the 86. This thing is beautiful. Original rubber. It's got the original air filter. It's got the book. The biggest difference, or a biggest noteworthy difference, aside from just overall design changes, is that this has a square tube frame, and you see these little red knobs, or plugs rather, that fills in the square opening on the frame. A lot of times those are missing. So if you're buying a second gen 200X, like that has round tube frame, a very similar design on like 350Xs and 250Rs where they smush the tube together to make the grab bar mounts. For some reason they did it like this on 200Xs. taillight is actually the same on a 200X as it is a 350X. Actually, I'm thinking I'm wrong because that's black. Sorry, that's black. That would be white. The lens is the same, but the taillight, and that's white. Huh. Never noticed that before. If you're watching this and you've got an ATC 200X, let me know if that's right. I think that's original. I don't have a reason to suspect otherwise. This had the book in there, but I took the book out to put into a binder I have. Just a really nice machine. The axle's got a touch of corrosion on it over there, so it isn't, like I said, without blemish, but it is very, very nice. ATC on the seat. The wings are different, 86 to 85. That's the same as 350X has those differences. 350X for an 86 would have ATC on the seat, and then 350X on the fender. So this was their style when it came to their 4-stroke machines. 250Rs were different because the fenders have number plates in the 250Rs. 1987 has the same fenders. The fenders are interchangeable on the second gen. They're also interchangeable on the first gen. All the same, fronts and rears. You know, so within a generation, it's the same. The tank shrouds on the 87 go to white. They're red on the 86. This tank, you can see, she was ridden. You know, that's somebody's wear marks from them squeezing that tank. I've got a refinished tank that I will put on this machine. Get some new decals from Bruce Allman and make this pretty. So these tires are pretty bald. They're more bald than when I bought this because my buddy Vinny Staffa went and picked this up and decided he wanted to be cool and tough. Did some donuts with it on some concrete in the warehouse that he runs. You might look at the seat and be like, oh, is that a reproduction? It doesn't say anything on the side there. On the back it says Honda, but believe it or not, in 87, that's what they did. I don't really like it. I think it would look better with something on it, but I didn't do design work for Honda back in 86 when they were probably finalizing the look of this. The biggest thing on the 87, I say the biggest thing, I don't know if it's the biggest thing or not, but these dashes. If you buy one of these and it doesn't have the dash, that's almost impossible to find. They do pop up, but you'll pay $400 for that little piece of plastic, 10 cents worth of plastic. The 250Rs and the 350Xs, had they been released and sold to the public, which they were not, and you can argue with me if you want and tell me I didn't do my research and act like I'm an idiot, but you don't end up with all these three-wheelers and not do some research. I'll just say that. Had the 87 350Xs and 250Rs come out, they would have had a dash like this with keyed ignition. This isn't an electric start, but it's just a key. I do have the guard for this. Don't want to act like I'm slumming it over here, but I just wanted to show how this Kickstarter is more like the 85, 86 layout, where when you come down, you hit the foot peg, so it stops you. It's not weird like the first gen. If you didn't know what this apparatus was, that just made me think that I could show you. That's the decomp cable. As you initiate the kickstart process, it pulls that cable and breaks the seal on the cylinder, so you're not fighting the compression of the motor. That's activated right with the Kickstarter there. So there you have it. So obviously the decal layout is a little bit different on these fenders. Whatever plastic they used was very prone to spider checking, you know, sun fading, if you will. These are really good. I'm trying to find, that's not so nice, but it's not uncommon to see spider webbing. I don't know what particular plastic resin they used for these, but that's a common thing. If you see one and you're buying it at distance, you'll want to get close-up pictures of the fenders. This should have a decal right here. You can see just a little bit. It's left right there. I'll spend some time on those when I start to detail that. Who knows what year that'll be, but I'll do that. Those are original fork boots. I guess I didn't finish my thought. I'll try to buff up those fenders before I do anything permanent. This to me is a bummer. Though this is the original decal, I don't think I would try to keep that. I think it would look better if you put reproductions on it. That's a little bit too far past, so I wouldn't feel bad doing that. Something subtle. Okay, buckle up. Subtle change. You look at those rims, right? 86, 87. You say those are the same rims. Rears are the same. Some people say that the ATC 200Xs had the same forged aluminum center as the ATC 350Xs. I have not seen one like that. They'll fit. They'll be interchangeable, but I've never seen one that had that. But what I'm trying to say here is this rim, you'll see, I can stick my finger back there. It's just like a rolled lip. That is the same as the 85 350X. Same type of detail. It's not, because the 86 350X would have a forged aluminum center, but same detail. On the 87 200X, you see I can't get my finger in there. It's just more of a rolled, it's like they rolled it the other way. It's like they came out and rolled it this way. So that is unique. The rears are the same. So you can't swap out these rims with anything else other than 87 200X rims. Stamp 0586. Manufactured 686. So, little FYI there. Probably if the 87 350Xs came out, they'd be the same, but they were never sold to the public. And the reason I'm so confident on that, I was just arguing with a guy. I've never seen a picture of one in somebody's basement. You'd think after this time and the fact that these have become so popular, if somebody had an 87 350X or 250R, they would be so proud of it that they've got the one, the unicorn, that somebody would be sharing that, and they just haven't. There's the one, photo that Honda put out however many years ago that everybody hangs their hat on and says, see, they exist. They sold, one was registered in New Brunswick, Canada. Maybe, show me. That's my big thing. It's all hearsay. There's another video of a guy on YouTube at a gas station with a 350X, and he's like, yeah, this is an 87. It's not. It's got Meyer fenders on it. Meyer fenders are great. I love Jesse Meyer. Terrific guy. But if you're trying to say that your 350X is a 87 unicorn, I want to see your VIN. I want to see your red mud flap. I want to see your dash pad. It doesn't have any of that. Oh, I'm just noticing here. I'm sorry. I'll get off my soapbox. I got excited. 87s have a red swing arm. I don't like it personally. I like the silver swing arm of the 86. You know, so whoever was on the committee that said, yeah, we're not going to put anything on the side of the seat and we're going to give it a red swing arm, I think they needed to be let go. And maybe that, it's got some tool. Look at that. Oh my gosh. No, 13/32. Go. Garbage. Nice saying, yeah, whoever, oh, it does kind of make sense because the 87 350X was supposed to have a red mud flap, so maybe that was going to have a red swing arm too. I don't know, because they don't exist. Can't compare it. Well, that's all, my friends, today. All that I know. There's probably a lot more. If you know more, tell me. You know, you could have got these with speedometers. I do have a speedometer that I will be putting on this 87. One that I thought went on my 86 350X, but it had the wrong mounting hardware, so we're going to swap that around, put it on this. I think you could have got a tack. Tacks are really rare. I saw a couple of those for sale for a whole bunch of money. What other options could you got? You know, you could have got the reservoir cover here. Headlight guards were popular. So these are all, this one might not be. This might not be Honda line. See how it doesn't have the webbing here where these do? I've come to believe these are Honda line, but maybe they're not. Honda on 350X and 250R headlight guards have little plugs here. These holes don't look right. They're straight through. Hard telling, not knowing, as my pal Eric used to say. What else could you get on these? I'm not sure. But that's what I have to share with you on today's episode of This Old Trike. I think I might wrap it up. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate you guys watching. That's all I know about 200Xs. I don't have a lot of familiarity with them, having not grown up riding them. Like I said, I jumped right to that 350X and got comfortable on that, and that spoiled me for the 200Xs. So they're great machines. I do believe the 86, 87, the second gen, is where it's at as far as you know, how Honda went on to perfect the design and you know, the subtle nuances of the machine. So they're a superior machine. Performance-wise, I don't know which is faster. I'd have to assume the 86, 87 would be faster. But that's all I think I know. And I'm sure there's a bunch of you out there that know more. So please educate me, educate everybody else. Put some love down in the comments. You know, be nice and like and subscribe. Like I said, I'm going through all the different models and talking about, you know, the differences between model years, and we'll focus on year to year here coming up soon and show what Honda put out, you know, different years. So thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, ride safe, and we'll catch you next time.